Hello and welcome back to Talking Giants, brought to you by SeatGeek. Bears 24, Giants 20. And the Giants have blown their fourth double-digit lead on the road in the fourth quarter. How do you like that? People that know how to lose and who are very good at losing, they lost again. And it won't change until the people who are good at losing are out of the building. It is a disease. It is a disease. You had a double-digit lead against the Cowboys. You had a double-digit lead against the Saints. You had a double-digit lead against the Broncos. And today, a double-digit lead versus the Bears in the fourth quarter. All blown, all lost, and cherry on top, Jackson Dart is hurt. Shaun Morash.
This is the worst of them all, Justin. I have to be honest.
It's not. I'm tired of ranking them, Shaun.
I'm ranking them. At least for me,
disagree. I'm flipping it on its head. You're wrong.
Right.
This is the best out of the blown double-digit point losses in the fourth.
The quarterback got hurt.
Because you knew that it was coming. Because you knew it was coming. I am not surprised anymore. I'm not shocked by it. I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I'm sad. I'm disappointed. I'm angry. I'm upset. You knew that it was coming the second that Jackson Dart fumbles that ball.
But you knew how this
game was going to end.
Yeah, you're right. But that's what makes it the worst. And look, the coach is filleted. He's done. He's toast. We'll see what happens as far as tomorrow goes. I'm not even talking about it from that point of view. But, dude, the one redeeming quality of watching Giant football the rest of the year is watching Jackson Dart. And, yes, the inevitability of how he runs, and I know that was asked today post-game, is something, when it comes to protecting him. Like, I understand all of that. That's who Jackson Dart is. I don't blame that on anybody else. Like, for all we love Jackson Dart for, that's exactly it. And he's going to inevitably get hurt, okay? But seeing him get hurt, watching a game you knew was going to sink the moment he did not come back in that game after he fumbled the ball, it's disheartening. It's disheartening when you look at the upcoming schedule, and I get it. Who gives a crap when you're 2-8? But to know that this was at least one game amongst all the BS going on in that building, outside that building, around that building, where a stop the bleed could have happened, and they were in position to do it, end the road drought, and they lose the game after losing the quarterback. It is the worst one for me for all of those reasons. And also, I think the Bears suck. All right, at least Denver, when they collapsed to Denver, I respect them as like a playoff team. You saw today, Jackson Dart's a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. He sucks. And we'll go all over the place. The other reason this one's the worst for me, there's no more defending the big guys. I'm done defending Abdul Carter. I'm done defending Dexter Lawrence. I'm done defending Kayvon Thibodeau after today, because that was an outright disgrace the way they handled Caleb Williams in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion on Caleb Williams is a little bit different than you. I like Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is one of the reasons why they stayed alive in this game. I did not like the game that Ben Johnson called, but the fact that Caleb, and he's not perfect, but the fact that Caleb was able to keep plays alive like that, out of all, I haven't watched, there's fans that have listened to the show, and even like yourself, Shaun, that I've watched football for a lot longer than I have, but I think I've watched a lot of football. That was one of the more insane individual efforts that I've ever seen in terms of a quarterback consistently just breaking out of pressure. There had to be 3 times where Kayvon Thibodeau had Caleb Williams dead to rights.
How many times are you going to bite inside, Justin? How many times are you going to make an inside move and have Caleb Williams go outside? You're right. Great for Caleb Williams. That's just as bad on the Giants' defensive front for allowing it to happen.
Which I will agree. You got to get the guy on the ground. You got to get the quarterback on the ground when you get your hands on him that many times, where there were more than 5-6 times where, I mean, even if half of those are converted into sacks, Shaun, it's huge for a defense that needs negative plays and is starving for negative plays, and that has 21 sacks on the season, and Brian Burns has 11 of them. So, yeah, man, you want more defensive stats? 127 points over the last 4 weeks. That's how many points that the Giants have allowed. Shaun, how many of them have come in the fourth quarter?
An ungodly amount. 96. Let's go.
73. 57.4% of the points they have allowed have all come in the fourth quarter over the last 4 weeks.
Awful.
You just knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
Yeah. I mean, lucky for me, some of us go to DraftKings. I live bet that, got that money in the pocket because you knew it was coming. Look, so I don't know which way you want to take this, Justin, but if you'll allow me, just the other part here with the Dart getting hurt. Russell Wilson entering this game, and they run the ball down the field. We can get to the decision a little bit, but just you see how apparent it is without having weapons on this team. Like, you see how good Jackson Dart is making, something out of nothing with the lack of weapons on this team. I don't think Russell Wilson's very good. I seriously question whether Jameis Winston should be the number 2 quarterback or not. Even me saying that takes a lot. But the bottom line is this, Justin, like, any team, you really get screwed over bringing in a backup quarterback when you have basically lumps of crap being trotted out there. They had no prayer when Dart left that game to score any more points, essentially. Like, even if the Bears had settled for a field goal, who thought the Giants were scoring in overtime with what they had on offense?
Yeah, but I had no doubt that that game was never going to overtime. That game was going to be lost by the Giants in regulation. And I think what this game also does, it just confirms everything that we already know. Everything that we already know about Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll sold us on the idea. I love that word. Sold us on the idea that the changing the quarterback was just going to fix everything that was wrong with the organization. That's the bill of goods that they sold us on, and that's why they were able to keep their jobs. And to a certain extent, they are right. They've won 2 games this year where they kicked ass from start to finish. And then you want to know what? 4 games where they had double-digit blown leads in the fourth quarter. But the second that, the first 2 games of the year, first of all, where, one of them you blow games in the fourth, but also the second that Jackson Dart leaves this game, it only confirms that the rest of the roster and the rest of the Giants' infrastructure is awful. And and forget the quarterback. We are 4 years into roster building. We are 4 years into building a staff. We are 4 years into teaching football players on how to try and play winning football. And the second that your savior quarterback leaves the game, everything falls apart. It only confirms everybody's frustrations and at least my frustrations, because my frustration with Daboll and Schoen had nothing to do with how they treated the quarterback position. Daniel Jones and not drafting this guy, not drafting that guy, not trading up, not getting a deal done, had nothing to do with the quarterback position. It had everything to do with everything else that was going wrong around them. And it just rears its ugly head when Dart leaves the game. The team that they have formed up together shows and rears its ugly head.
And the perfect way to, I guess, just to kind of simplify and for lack of a better term, dumb down what you're saying. Remove Andrew Thomas from the equation. This team is 2-8, and its second best football player on the team is the rookie quarterback named Jackson Dart. I have no problem making that proclamation. Now, okay, you want to argue Burns? Just hear me out. Work with me. 2, 3, it doesn't really matter. But the point means this:
2 players that are playing like all pros at their position.
Exactly. And the greater point here is when you're a 2-8 football team with a rookie quarterback, the idea is, by the way, on a team where everybody blamed the quarterback in the past for not getting over the hump, that's an important caveat here. It shows beyond a shadow of a doubt, you suck as a general manager. The roster is not good enough. The depth, the moment you get slight injuries, is not good enough. You drafted Malik Neighbors in the first round. Could you have some kind of depth behind that, even if you're losing Malik? Like, there is nobody you trust. And I guess the most hilarious part of this is while Dart's playing, suddenly Darius Slayton, before he got hurt, is making these incredible catches. But they're atrocious weapon-wise. I mean, the decision early in the game to throw it, and I love this guy. We've defended him, Daniel Bellinger. Can you catch the freaking football? Like, this team has failed on so many levels with so many of these bit-place players that we expect to be better than they are simply because they've been here for so long, simply because a regime has saved them. It's atrocious.
And why are we at a point where Gunnar Olszewski is a reliable wide receiver for you?
And made a great play in the end zone. Why is Jalen Hyatt on the team? Why is little Jordan Humphrey out of practice squad elevations while Jalen Hyatt continues to occupy a roster spot where if Darius Slayton gets hurt, you have to play Gunnar Olszewski on the outside at receiver? This is disgusting what the Giants have done with Evan Neal and Jalen Hyatt now. Admit it, they're failures. We've seen it. Don't be worried about them going to the Eagles or the 49ers or somewhere else and having a nice little career. Enough is enough with worrying about what's going to happen when these guys leave here. They are wastes of roster spots. Wastes, period.
And the crazy thing is that, we're talking about the little things of the Giants roster construction that we've talked, between kicker and wide receiver, and they're still playing this dangerous tightrope game of having 2 healthy running backs, right? I want to come on and talk about how good the offense was today. That's what I want to come on and do. I want to talk about the little things that make Jackson Dart stay go. I want to talk about the individual effort of Darius Slayton and the amazing catch that he had. Devin Singletary, the amazing effort that he had on a third down. Theo Johnson catching the ball and having a really, really solid day. Wando Robinson being reliable outside of, he had a drop ball, was thrown behind him, whatever. But all these little things, I want to talk about that. But you can't, even when Jackson Dart puts up 242 yards in what felt like three quarters of play, the Giants had 30 rush attempts for 169 yards, 5.6 yards per attempt, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. You can't talk about it. You can't get excited about it because they're just so shit, and they're infected. They are infected by losing. They are really good at losing. They are so good at losing. They have people on this team and in this organization that are so good at losing, and that's what they know how to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. The disease, and that's what you put it, really speaks, I think, to the greater point, right? Like today, on a coach I'm officially done with, I thought he actually made the right call. I know Greg Olson disagreed. And just to briefly end that decision, I thought that was a winning decision, knowing Russell Wilson's situation, to be able to go up 10 with whatever it was, 7 minutes left, and just bank on your defense getting it done. Like, no matter what.
Are you, please, Shaun, please do not tell me you're talking about the 4th down from the half-yard line.
Oh, I'm just bringing this up because I thought it was absolutely the right call. And then you disagree. Justin, what fucking team have you watched this year?
Shaun, that was a losing.
Oh, we're gonna brawl over this.
I don't want to brawl over.
No. Let's get it right here. Let's get it right here. I love you, and this is great. This is passion.
I love you too,
Justin. I understand that in regular football, you should be able to muscle this thing in from the half-yard line, and if you don't, pin a defense back. I understand that. We saw the Russell Wilson Giants, and that was when Cam Scadaboo was still healthy. The biggest indictment and problem with the Russell Wilson Giants is they couldn't finish from inside the 5-yard line. Today, of all days, the defense had done enough. Caleb Williams was erratic enough to go up 2 scores there and put it as a 10-point game with 7 minutes left was the right decision. Because if you failed, like you failed every time in those first 3 games inside the 5 with Russell Wilson, they were down 7. You were a Monungai 12-yard run from being out of the shadow of your own end zone, and we'd be screaming and yelling about the stupid decision that Brian Dable made there. That was a winning decision to put the ball in the hands of there. That was not their fault that they lost. Now, if Jackson Dart's on the field, I agree with you. They played to who their quarterback was.
I'm even going off the emotion of, and the feel, right? Which I hate arguing 4th down decisions because it's like, Shaun, you're not going to change my mind. And Shaun, I'm not going to change your mind.
I'm shocked you have. I'll be honest with you. I thought we'd be in lockstep in this. I'm stunned.
It's the half-yard line. And the Giants as a rushing offense at that point of the game, they were leaning on people.
Dude, but what do you think the Bears are going to do? The Bears are just going to line up and expect a run there.
It had the feel of late in the Eagle game. It had the feel of late in the Charger game of they started to lean on people with Tracy and Devin Singletary. And that Bears defense, like it felt like that drive was, this is going to be it, and this is going to be the finishing touch. And then you make that decision. And Shaun, I'm going to tell you right now,
okay,
it was not the right, like you're saying, it was not the right decision because they lost the game. They lost the game. It was not the right decision.
I mean,
you're a half-yard.
I don't think they're getting in the end zone, so they're losing the game anyway. I don't think they're getting in the end zone, and I think the Bears are going to.
I'd rather lose like that, though, man.
I disagree. Russell Wilson can't convert touchdowns inside the 5, and you want to say,
but it's not Russell Wilson. He's handed the ball off.
Exactly.
Was kicking ass.
Part of it. No, an offensive line's kicking ass when there's still the threat of run, pass. You're going to have basically all 11 lined up there, and the Giants are not going to be creative enough to trust Russell Wilson to throw the football there. Somebody would have dropped it if he did. They're not getting it home there. I know it sounds easier said than done. That is where the Dart injury was a killer. And that is where the lack of weapons is a killer. Like, that's where the lack of creativity is a killer. It was the right call to kick the 3. I'm sorry. I disagree with Greg Olson. You didn't watch enough Russell Wilson offense the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll disagree on that, man. And
either way, they were losing the game then, I guess.
Half a yard. It's 18 inches. Like I just have, like, that's how I've always talked about it in football, where if you can't get 18 inches, if you can't get 36 inches when you need it most through any sort of fashion or play call or whatever, then you don't deserve to win. That's has always been my take.
I agree. They had to go into a shell there. They stink with Russell Wilson playing. I'm not going to fight that. But for who they had on the field, I thought it was the right call and the way the game had been going.
Yeah. All right, Shaun, I do want to talk about Mando. Boom. Right here. Boom. You see it? You see it? You see it? Boom, 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 boom. Today's episode is sponsored by Mando. It's official. The holidays are around the corner. That means lights, gifts, get-togethers, and bourbon leather. Holy smokes, that pops out like a Christmas tree. Mando's has countless benefits. It's clinically proven, like 72-hour odor control, safe for the whole body, and it stops odor before it even starts. Mando comes in a number of formats like Invisible Spray, Solid Stick, and Invisible Cream, and comes in 4 cologne quality scents like Bourbon Leather, like this, Mountain Fiji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. Mando is the perfect gift, and trust me, after using it, some of you just might want to get some for yourself too. So a special offer for you, our listeners. New customers, you're going to get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code TalkinGiants at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Protect your pits, smell great while doing it. Bang. Bang, bang,
Good read,
bang.
Justin. Good read.
Thank
You made
you.
the right read there.
We made the right read. Shaun, where do you want to go to next, man?
Look, I know we talked a lot about the offense. I really want to talk about this freaking defense because they're driving me nuts.
Let's talk about the defense.
All right. Here's just my bird's eye view before you want to break in X's and O stuff. I thought the defense had done a good enough job, but it was also kind of like a Band-Aid job. All right, they didn't let the run totally kill them early. A lot of what went right for the defense had everything to do with the quarterback they were facing and Caleb Williams just being like something we had talked about in the preview pod, a little off on some of these throws that had brought the game back, so to speak. But I know we blame Shane Bowen for everything. I think he stinks as a defensive coordinator. When Demetrius Flanagan Fowles is up there making some tackles, like whatever, this is now coming down to me to your big four. And Burns deserves somewhat of a pass. I mean, he makes a good play earlier. The other 3 guys, I am officially hit the point on November the 9th where I'm sick and tired of hearing about the stat pressure rate, pressures, and everything that goes into it. You saw firsthand today what pressures do when you don't finish and you don't get sacks. And whether it's getting your ass kicked on the run in all these other games or whether it's allowing Caleb Williams to do this, no matter what that decision was, up 10 points, 7 minutes to go, that is on those guys as a group who are supposed to be the strength of the team to go out there in closing time and close the game out. They were a disgrace. And I am officially off the I'm not off the Abdul Carter like his good train, but I'm off defending him as a rookie. You're more than halfway through. Finish some plays. Don't keep biting on the inside. Kayvon Thibodeau biting on the inside. Dexter Lawrence, you basically had 1 sack taken away and a penalty. Other than that, again, I'm not seeing enough dominance. Those guys are supposed to be the strength. I am tired of this team blowing leads in the 4th quarter when their bread and butter should be those big marquee names closing out games, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, it's not complimentary football. That's partially the issue. I meant, we talked about like 5 or 6 plays where 3 of them, 3 Kayvon sacks would be sacks where Kayvon gets his hand on Caleb Williams, breaks out of it. 1 by Darius Alexander. I think Carter definitely maybe had 1, but there was a sack that was Abdul Carter's first full sack taken off the board due to a Deontay Banks penalty in the secondary. There was Dexter Lawrence's first full sack that was taken off the board due to Drew Phillips' defensive penalty as well. So, I mean, they're not a good football team. Like it's not a good unit. They don't play complementary football. They don't play together.
Yeah, they're not. It's, again, a bunch of names and nothing in terms of gelling. And even in the secondary, in the back end, I mean, Deontay Banks on that 1 drive again, and then he even got sat down at a point in this game, right? We were seeing exclusively Corey Black
and then he comes back, and they
have no idea what they're doing with this.
They don't know their ass from their elbow. They need to make a decision. Like, are you going to suck with Deontay Banks, or are you going to make a statement to the rest of your team and be like, we're sitting you down. We don't care if you're a former first-round pick. We are going to suck with Corey Black, who I think is at least going to play his ass off because he knows that, oh, shit, this team just cut me a couple weeks ago, despite, at the beginning of the year, despite them drafting me. So I'm at least going to play my ass off versus Deontay Banks, who I don't know if he gives a flying fuck. So make a decision.
Yeah. Dude, what's I think more complicated is that there's no consistency to the decision making when it comes to Deontay Banks in terms of this. They want to keep running him out there. And I understand there's also a depth issue here, again, on the general manager, because you're not good at finding the Fabian Moreaus of the world anymore when guys get hurt. But Justin, why are Jalen Hyatt and Evan Neal treated any different than Deonte Banks simply because of not having the same? I mean, Jalen Hyatt has injuries at the wide receiver position. You have Gunnar Olszewski playing. Why is he not out there?
There's less depth. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, we all know I'm grouping those three guys in together as complete draft busts for the New York Giants at this point. And it's very evident, at least the other two guys, it's driving us mad while they're even on their roster, taking up roster spots. You can make the same case about why Deonte Banks is taking up a roster spot, only they're actually playing him. So why is he earning the right to play when Jalen Hyatt, who at least could run down the field, is not? And I'm not asking for Hyatt to play. It's just showing that they have no rhyme or reason for what the hell they're doing in terms of this roster management.
I do think Deonte Banks is better than Jalen Hyatt and Evan Neal.
Okay. I mean, I think they all suck, but fine. So,
yes,
so
they
better.
all suck, but we're talking about
so
who's the
better. So what? He's still unplayable.
Yeah, who's the prettiest pig with lipstick? I think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Like, either way, I don't think any of those three guys are playable.
No, they're not. They're not. But they make a decision at this point. It's not even worth getting mad at. It's not even worth getting. And I feel so bad. Like, this is a podcast. This is a fan podcast. You want us to have takes and formulated opinions, and I'm running out of juice.
I'm numb.
I'm
numb too, dude. I'm numb too. And I think maybe that's why. What did I open up arguing where you said it's not the worst because of this, that, and the other thing? I think it's the worst because it's the first time I didn't care. Like, I was angry but didn't care.
Yes.
So maybe that's a better way of putting it. It's the worst because Dark got hurt.
It's the same argument as me, said in a different way.
Like, I got off the couch watching this game, and you ever I guess I'll lead a little comedy into here. You ever smell somebody's gnarly fart in a room? Like that? Oh, yeah. That's kind of the where you get up and you're like, who did that? Like, that was my feeling after the Giants finished off that collapse. I got off the couch, I went, ugh. And you just, like, you're so disgusted, you walk away, but you don't even care. And that's a problem. And that's the problem where the Giants have left us in. And then look, there's more of a conversation here, which is not really for the immediacy of this, but like, where the hell are they winning another football game this year if they can't even close out games like this? But I don't know what the right answer is going. Like, I don't even know what to make of it. How long is Dart out? Like, all of this stuff.
Who do they have next week? Who do they have next week?
They play the Packers with Russell Wilson, who can't move the ball.
Yeah, and that's you're playing.
And they're not. By the way, this is when they play nice guy like this, because Russell Wilson said and probably did all the right things back. I'm sure he is. I am anti-Jameis, but I have to be fair. I think Jameis Winston's earned the right to play, but they're probably not going to do that either. And we're going to watch this same boring offense next week. Gunnar Olszewski and Russell Wilson connecting. I'm super excited, man. It sounds like the preseason all over again.
I mean, do you want to talk? I want to talk more about Jackson Dart's day.
Sure, go ahead. Let's do this.
And just how, dude, he was good. He was really freaking good. Ran the ball really well.
Yeah. In the wind, too, he was slicing up with some of his throws.
The not really going in order. I'm going to think of stuff just as it kind of comes to me. I thought one of his best throws of the day, the backside dig concept on a third down to Darius Slayton, where it's zone coverage for the Chicago Bears, and he's layering the ball over the linebacker over the middle of the field. Greg Van Roten's, was holding his block, but he's getting bull rush back, and Dart has to throw with the guy right in his face. He's throwing it not only over that defensive lineman, layering the ball over the linebacker, and then Darius Slayton open in the middle of the field. Money on third down, doing a nice job getting the ball to Theo Johnson as well. That out route to Wan'Dale Robinson, basically it would be Wan'Dale and Theo Johnson would be lining up right next to each other. Theo Johnson, they would be giving Wan'Dale cushion, which I didn't really understand why, a good amount, but they would basically just run like a little bit of a pick play where Theo Johnson would just clear out space for Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale would run the out route, and then that would be wide open, and that would be pretty easy money. Thought there were some really good play calls on third down, too. I mentioned the Darius Slayton catch, but even some third and long creative stuff. There was a Jackson Dart design run on a third and long that I think picked them up a first down. The Wan'Dale Robinson screen on a third and long, which brought them in the fourth and short. And then it was the play action boot that gets Jackson Dart the first down after that series of events after Wandale gets that screen. So there was good Kafka stuff. There was good Dable stuff, design stuff. The design where Dart was running for the touchdowns and first downs was really, really good stuff too. So there was good stuff all around, and Dart looked really good within it until, basically 2 plays where at the end of the half, where he almost throws an interception targeting Gunner, and then the fumble.
Right. Okay. And again, 2 rookie mistakes. Gunnar Olszewski bails him out. Fumble. He's just got to be better there. Clearly, he gets hurt. That's brutal. He wasn't plagued by complete drops today, which was really good. I also thought just overall, as the offense kind of set the tempo and they were throwing the ball, while Dart was handling it, I thought a little more patience in the run game that you had mentioned later on when Russell Wilson was in for that last drive. Felt like they were really taking over, but I thought Tyrone Tracy looked better taking the balls here from Jackson Dart in this spot too. Look, it was just effective. I think above anything else, knowing again that this team is going to severely have to upgrade weapons other than just Scadaboo and Neighbors down the line. I walked out of today with this. Jackson Dart, who we knew grew up in Utah in the mountains and the cold. There's pictures of him hunting mountain lions and all that crap. I have no doubt that Jackson Dart, knowing that we play in a windy stadium ourselves when the weather gets colder, is a quarterback built for that. He clearly was built for the elements today, and clearly was somebody that had enough arm velocity to, rip it through some of the wind gusts that we saw today. And I guess, in the midst of a collapse, in the midst of talking about the good of Jackson Dart, we could take from us that we probably showed he's going to be an effective cold weather quarterback, which is important when quarterbacking the New York Football Giants.
Dude, and he's doing this with
crap, man.
With no,
it's pathetic.
No weapons.
It's pathetic that Gunnar Olszewski's out there running around at the end of the half when Darius Slayton gets hurt. It's pathetic that Darius Slayton's wide receiver 1, and I'm openly laughing when he makes the catch of his life because I can't believe he actually caught that because he drops everything else.
Yeah. Which by the way, I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
I am too. I don't think he's a bad guy, but it's just funny.
I am very happy for him because then he had 4 targets, 4 catches, no drops, and 80-some yards. And dude, it's a shame he's been struggling with that hamstring all year, and then he leaves the game. And then I think he comes back in, and I didn't fully see if he was out there towards the end of the game. But,
by the way, the broadcast stunk too. Can you because I'm trying my best to stay off Twitter. I had no idea Slayton got hurt when Gunnar Olszewski was running around out there. I just figured they were giving Gunnar Olszewski like reps. I didn't even realize Slayton was not out there until I got a bunch of texts about it, and then he obviously came back, but. Yeah, I mean, I felt good for Slayton, like you did. That's fine. But again, it just shows you his lack of consistency when we're in amazement. And then again, the Daniel Bellinger drop. Let me ask you this about the Jackson Dart to Bellinger there. It's a great throw. Bellinger's got to hold on to it. I know that defense makes a good play. I think I would have kicked 3 there too. I said at the time. What are you, 4 yards out at that point? And if you put up 3, that's where I had no idea what Koo was going to be able to do. We had not seen him kick yet. Yeah. I would have liked to see him kick. If he made it, I would have known I had confidence if and when, you would have been in a spot later on in the game. Now, again, Bellinger catches the ball. We're not complaining about that. But I thought they left 3 points on the board there too, Justin.
That was at the point of the game where they were talking about how no kickers are going to be kicking at all. And then
right. But you were in deep enough that I would have at least liked to see. Because I think I'd live with it at 4th and 4 not getting it if I know, Koo missed. Guess what? Kicking problems. I can't trust it the rest of the game. He makes it. Maybe a little more confident.
Yeah, I mean, at that point of the game, it's still crazy snowing and crazy wind, and then I think it kind of dies down towards the second half, and that's when.
But it's crazy snow and crazy wind. You're throwing the football too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Bellinger, who never drops a pass, of course, drops one and kills.
I mean, that's tough. It's tough. I'm not gonna kill. I'm not killing.
I'm tired of it's tough. You have 2 hands on a football. You know what good teams do? They make the tough catches. I'm so tired of giving excuses to guys that get 2 hands on a football and going, it was a tough play. Enough. That's the disease of losing. It seeped into us on podcasts.
Another week of me drafting Daniel Bellinger in the Talking Giants touchdown draft. And was he not also 3 yards away from getting a touchdown?
Yeah. Yes, he was. To the left, yeah.
And then Dart gets it, and then he drops that one. And I'm like, there's going to be one of these weeks where I'm going to hit Daniel Bellinger at plus 500, and it doesn't.
I had Dart, correct? Do you have that up in front of you? I had Dart. And we don't do bonus points for 2.
Should we start doing that?
We probably should, right?
I think we should. That'll be a good way to get you back in it.
Although, if you're doing it technically on DraftKings, there's a different stat. You don't get paid twice. You have to bet 2 touchdowns.
But we can also make our own rules.
That's true. It's Talking Giants, right? We could do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want. It's our show.
True. Did anybody else get one in the touchdown draft today?
Oh, Dunze. I had him, I believe.
You had a Dunze.
That'll be for the preview pod.
Yeah, I got to go back. I'll figure it out. Either way, I was very curious.
Pod. Shaun,
Yeah,
I want to give a quick shout out to Nike because they are affiliate sponsors of us this year. So check out the affiliate link in the description below to shop some amazing Nike gear. Those jerseys look pretty good today, and get some Knicks gear while you're at it too, because the Knicks are back.
Yeah, New York needs the Knicks more than ever.
How do you like that? Do you want to do some big picture stuff? You and I don't usually do a lot of big picture stuff because that's for the middle of the week.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we can. Look, we're half an hour into this pod, full disclosure to our audience, and it just shows you when you have another, like, disheartening loss. I mean, yeah, I think we should do a big picture at this point. I mean, what more can you break down from that pathetic collapse?
I mean, there's a lot of more positive stuff that, as I'm doing prep for the show, like, I'm like, do I really want to, like, go back and fully watch stuff? It's like, I do, but who wants to hear the really good individual effort that Devin Singletary makes on a third down? And let's break down how that happened. Nobody cares, man. And I want to do that. Even if they're 3-7, I would have loved to do that and go into prep and be like, I need to make sure that I write everything down and we don't forget a moment. I don't care about it, and I don't think anybody else cares about it. So,
no. Oh God, this team stinks. They stink. All right, so what do we want to do here, big picture?
I don't know. Well, you had some interesting things to say on WFAN this.
Okay, so you want me to bring up the table stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
A report that I and apparently somebody else had.
Nikki, good friend.
Nikki. Is Nikki show? I'm unaware.
Nikki, just she's a good people.
Okay, all right. I mean, she made a very vulgar video about me though, too, Justin. Jeez.
Hey, good people. We all feel things very deeply sometimes.
Okay. All right. Look, if you're asking me, and do I know anything right now at the time we are live at 5:15 from anybody I heard from? No, I don't. Don't ask me that. This was a much deeper rooted situation in Denver. And no, I mean, as far as if that was true, and it is, I believe it to be based on who told me this. Would it shock me if Brian Daboll's fired tomorrow? I think it still kind of would, even though they didn't pull the trigger in Denver. I believe that the reasons they didn't pull the trigger as far as firing him in Denver extend towards keeping him for a full season. That being said, you now have the quarterback hurt. Yep. Maybe somebody pins that on Daboll for not protecting him, and that was kind of like the golden ticket. You again collapse. The fan base is thirsty. The fan base does want blood. Here's what I would say, big picture. If Daboll's fired tomorrow and they give a look to Mike Kafka for the rest of the year, fine. Like, nothing about this season is going to change for me. I don't think that ruins Jackson Dart when he plays again. But in reality, if you know you're firing Daboll, which they do at the end of the year, okay? You can make the case and just do it. But here's the other case. Maybe you don't want to do that because you don't want to go out there and have the big press conference and answer questions this week. You know what you kind of can do without, registering some kind of big carving board station press conference? You could fire Shane Bowen today. You could fire Shane Bowen tomorrow. He's gone at the end of the year anyway once Daboll's gone. How many more times can a defense have a lead and pathetically collapse like that? You could easily promote Andre Patterson or whatever the hell you want to do as far as the defense for the rest of the year. Big picture stuff. Look, Daboll's gone at the end of the year. This is like, I feel bad for him, but like, I'm done feeling bad. I feel bad for me that I'm a Giant fan and I have to watch crappy football. I'm tired of defending guys because I think they're good guys and I think they're somewhat capable at their jobs. No, it's not good enough. And I've been blinded to that. And I, throw my hands up. I'm wrong. He's probably not a good head coach for this football team. But in the end, whatever they're deciding to do or not with him, to me, I do think you need some kind of blood. And if that's Shane Bowen, I would do at the very least that tomorrow, Justin. And don't tell me what changes. What changes? How about just some principle to stand on?
Yeah, there's that in the short term, right? Which I have zero emotional investment in what they do with Bowen tomorrow, what they do with Daboll tomorrow, what they do with Bowen next week, what they do with Daboll next week. I have zero emotional investment as a fan. You want to know what I have emotional investment in right now? This has been a thought. Watson? This has been a thought Dart? That has been running through my head over the last couple of weeks, but I've now just started to kind of say, especially as the season's fully over. It's been probably over for a little bit, but now it's over. I need to know, and I am so curious on who is running this football team right now. and what is the leadership structure of the New York Football Giants? That is what I am curious about.
Well, look, the Giants are in a situation where the figurehead of the whole operation is ill right now. With something that we wish him nothing but the best battling, a horrible disease. And to think that that's not complicating what's going on with the Giants right now, I think would be naive. And you have this weird balance where there are other people that certainly, share in some decision making for the New York Football Giants, but the ultimate person that must sign off on that is as we know, and they've made it public, is sick right now. So
Yeah.
I it's a weird spot, man. To deny that, it is. There is a bigger life, situation for ownership to be dealing with than the actual team that we are worried about each week. And I don't think there's a right answer there, Justin, to be honest with you. I'm trying to delicately say this the best I can. Everything about the situation sucks.
No, and it sucks.
But it does complicate what they're doing as far as when to make moves and what to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And a decision that should be easy and should have been made last year. And even though the right decision should be to clean house and to reset this whole thing from an organizational standpoint, Shaun, by the time it gets to late December, January, middle of January, when they could start legally interviewing candidates and getting this process started, I do not think, and I do not know, but I'm just telling you what I think. I do not think as an organization they are going to be fully able to do an entire GM and a full, exhaustive, integrative, right GM and head coaching search to try and reshape and rebuild the New York Football Giants.
I think you're right. And I think that is part of why you see a lot of the reports we saw on the Paul Schwartz story last week about split ticket. I think you're right. And I think that is, just as big a reason as any that Joe Schoen is probably going to keep his job, when I think most of us watching a roster again that's simply not good enough when singular players get hurt, compete, will drive us crazy. But you can yell and scream about it or just understand and accept the reality. The reality is I find it very hard to believe, even after this Bears game, a season that is going nowhere, well before this week, that Joe Schoen isn't keeping his job. The coach looks to be as good as gone. Maybe the coach is gone tomorrow. Maybe the coach is gone after week 18. But the exhaustive search that's going to happen is going to be this general manager and whoever else he's going to be in conjunction with picking a head coach. And whether they go the familiarity route, I had mentioned giving Kafka a look or something like that. That's on the table, but it's a really hard thing that I think a lot of our fans are not going to be able to grasp and understand, because if this was taken care of a year ago, when I was against it, so I'm going to be a hypocrite here, and Dable and Schoen were cleaned out a year ago, maybe Jackson Dart's here, but let's just play along that he is and the new regime picked him or whatever. This would not be an issue, right?
No.
You would be able to deal with whatever health issues are going on, as serious as they are, upstairs with the Giants, and just kind of have, all right, 1 year's under the belt and see what happens to year two. It's a mess. There's no other way to put it. Right now for the Giants, there's a mess. You have an ill owner who needs to be battling a life battle right now, who should be, while still is the guy in charge of making these decisions. It's a complicated mess.
All of this is to say, I think the Giants, this situation is a mess, but I think the Giants themselves are somehow even more of a mess than what is happening on the field right now.
I think that's true.
They are slaying while we as fans are arguing over Bowen and Dable and who should be fired and Hyatt and I think they are trying to slay such bigger dragons right now in that building, just simply about power and structure and who is going to lead the team, who is right, who is wrong, all of these different elements that are at play that I can't even wrap my head around, because what we root for and what we see on the field and what we have access to is the coaches whenever they talk for 15 minutes a week in total, right? and then what we see on a field on Sunday. That's it. We don't get to see the conversations that Tim McDonald and Chris Mara are having in ownership. We don't get to see Chris Mara, Steve Tisch, John Mara, the things that they talk about with each other. Those are the things that we don't get to see. But just simply using top context clues and what we know from the last time that this all broke down with Gettleman and Judge, and knowing the stories about, Chris Mara would left the NFL draft day 3 to go fucking watch his horse racing and all that kind of stuff. And now we've seen him pop up like a fucking groundhog over the last couple of years, just out of nowhere, right? You just read the little tea leaves here. It's so dysfunctional on how this goes, even though John Mara will tell you that he likes the process of Joe Schoen, but he is still very much him and his family is still very much part of what is wrong with the process of how the New York Football Giants go and operate.
Yeah. I mean, look, the process is all of those people who are family or not are involved with picking the players. Maybe there are too many people in that room deciding who the players are on this team. It'd be so hard on us. Like, do you need 15 people in there convening on what's going on besides the regional scouts? But the bottom line is this: the process is broken. No matter which way you shape it, no matter which way you finger point who in that room, who's involved with personnel, collectively as a group, they're not getting good enough players. They may have accidentally or not found the quarterback, found a great number 1 wide receiver, found a psychopath running back, kept a monster left tackle. Here or there, you found some good pieces. The team should be further along than this, especially with some of the carryover guys, like you mentioned, from the Gettleman era to the Schoen era. It's a broken process. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, they might get bailed out and get to escalate the process with a new head coach and a lighter schedule next year with the quarterback, but that shouldn't change the fact that the way they're building a team is just the wrong way to go about it. Oh, and if they ignore the offensive line in the offseason, other than signing Illuminor, it's going to make me throw up too, just because they finally get better results. This is fun. What a fun day.
Doing some refresher.
2 hours ago, we had a 10-point lead. We had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter.
This is what happens, man. This is what happens. Tim McDonald, the assistant director of player personnel in 2019 and 2020, and then since 2021, he's been the director of player personnel. It's literally a member of ownership that I would say it's which I don't even think the Giants formally have a director of like pro college scouting. Yeah. It's Dennis Hickey. Like I think he is the head, like he is the boss of all those scouts. And Dennis Hickey goes everywhere too. Dennis Hickey's a grinder and he's a good dude, a former GM himself. I'm never going to doubt the
and I don't, by the way, I don't doubt family ties or not that Tim puts in the work, but the bottom line is this: all of these guys together working together. They're not good enough. Right. You haven't been good enough at building a roster.
I'm not saying they don't try. I'm not saying that they don't want to win. They're just not good at it.
I mean, I got the lines in front of me. You're watching Brian Branch run around. Like we can't get simple things like Banks. Like they got that right in the second round. All these guys, like the Giants just fail time in and time out in this evaluation process. It's horrible.
If I'm GM, I would have nailed Brian Branch.
Well,
if I'm GM.
Maybe you should be. Justin, throw your hat in 3 years when Shane gets fired and Jackson Dart's an awesome quarterback on the Seahawks. Just do that then.
Just maybe let me have 2% influence on first round draft picks, and then that's it.
2%. Okay. I think we have enough people. We basically like Packers ownership now. We have enough people making decisions. Everybody who wants to buy stock and making giant decisions apparently is allowed.
I'm Julia Koch. You see how much money she has?
I know. I was going to say it's going to be really bad.
She's a single woman now, too.
By the way, that's a good influx of cash when it comes to signing. I say you skirt some signing bonus money.
That helped pay for Dable's fines. But yeah, she's a single woman now. I'm thinking about sliding in the DM, Shaun.
Real quickly, you just mentioned Dable's fines and it just made me laugh. How about the fact that we never got the blue tent shot of Dart? We only got him walking out.
I was thinking about that.
On TV, you never got it. All of a sudden, Russell Wilson was in the game. We saw Dart kind of covering his eyes, and Dable addressed it post-game, said that Dart went to run out there, and they saw he was a little woozy, and they pulled him back. We never got the blue tent shot, so we'll have no idea. I wonder if that's a Giants thing. Hey, all the cameras stay away from the blue tent. We can never see if Dable's running in there to see what's going on again.
John Mara doing the Giants some favors with the Fox broadcast. Conspiracy theory. I do want to talk about one more ad. I don't know how I feel like we're done. I do want to talk to you about Shopify, though. Shopify is the best place to start and grow a business, which is why we partner with them here at John Boy Media. John Boy Media has relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new /line site, and it was a dream. We brought the ideas, and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life really is a touchdown when you have Shopify on your side. Shopify Sidekick, Shopify Magic, and the suite of AI tools are a total game changer. It's revolutionizing the way you can build and manage a business. You'll have your own AI assistant guiding you on everything: directions, reports, editing images, content ideas. Shopify's got your next move covered. If you're ready to take that business idea from a draft to a reality, it's time to head over to shopify.com/giants. Shopify is the perfect partner for any business roster, so make sure that they're on yours today. I found my way on how I can get on in the Giants front office. It's if I start dating Julia Koch.
Why don't you try for that?
I'm going to try.
You could go up to her and you'd be like, "So you're Mrs. Coke. I'm Diet Coke."
Oh, wow. She's definitely got that one before, though.
Yeah, probably. Probably right. What else we got? Anything else on this miserable day?
No.
Good. So we're as done as the 2025 Giants.
They play the Packers next week. Are you going to be there? No.
What are you out of your mind? No, I'm not.
I'm going. I'm making an announcement. I'm going to the December 21st and the Dallas game. Like the December 21st game against the Vikings, I'm going. And the Dallas game, final game of the year, I'm going.
I hope you have a great time.
I'm going to have a great time. I'm 100% going to have a great time.
I'm done. I'm done going.
You don't want to join me for one of those games?
Maybe the Dallas. I'll consider the Dallas game as like a season wrap, and then we do the pot. I'll consider it.
Okay. You may have to get your own ticket because I think Jolly Olive's coming with me to that game.
I can get my own ticket. I'm a big boy. I can get my own ticket.
Yeah, you're sitting in a suite.
First of all, I didn't sit in a suite in San Francisco. I sat with my knees up against my chest and my eyes still hurt looking down. I sat like you do with the pores.
Oh, that's the all 22 angle that the NFL doesn't even let you use anymore.
We love using that joke, the pores. It's very funny.
Chat, what else have we forgotten? I don't think anything. So I think we're going to end it.
Great. We'll be back you'll be back this week, and then we'll be back for a preview pod for the Packers. Go Pack, go.
We will be back for the Packer game. Start thinking to yourself, and what we're doing is we're planting seeds. We're planting seeds in your brain. I really do think this conversation about Mara and leadership, and this isn't to pry. And I even said this on the mailbag. If you heard me in the middle of the week, not the mailbag. You even heard me say on my midweek show. I did a live reaction after the trade deadline. This isn't to pry. This isn't to be an asshole. This isn't even to be like, oh, look at us. We're going to talk about this first. I just really think that when we get to December and when it's nut up or shut up time, in the words of Woody Harrelson from Zombieland, when it's time to make a decision, this is going to be one of the main driving points and one of the main questions that we are all going to ask ourselves. And I really do think the beat reporters are going to stay away from this. They are yelling poison, like when you're pumping the ball down the field. Poison, don't touch it. They're yelling poison when it comes to this topic, because even from their perspective, it's got to be if I'm going to ask my sources about what's going on with Mara and who's running the team and what's going on here, from their perspective, and especially since the Giants are so bad, it is going to be seen as prying and what are your intentions here?
And it truly is a life sensitive issue. There is real life stuff at play here.
Yeah,
which sucks.
But
obviously,
it is something that will inevitably be talked about more.
Yep, so. I agree. Oh, what do we got? Only 7 more weeks of this. Great. Not this podcast. I meant the team, but okay.
Well, it'll get fun in the offseason when we have
I can't wait.
Top 5 pick again.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Jets won a game. Giants in the tankathon. Oh, all right. Early prediction before we close it out. If the Giants are picking top 3, I'm team trade back and collect more assets.
Okay. Takes 2 to tango. Depends on those
quarterbacks. I agree. But if there is a taker and I'm getting an extra 1 and a 2, something like that, I'm doing it in this draft.
Tennessee Titans will have to compete with those Titans because they'll want to trade back too.
I think we might be better at competing than you think.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for everybody listening. This is the 3rd week in a row that I'm going to say I'm going to try and get a beat reporter on. I didn't do it last week because am I really going to ask a beat reporter in the evening of the trade deadline to come on the show? No. So I just did a live reaction. I am going to try and get a beat reporter on this week, and we'll do some big picture stuff in the middle of the week. And then Shaun and I will be back to talk about the Packers. And I actually do like the Packers as a team. And I have some, we'll watch them Monday night. And I do have some thoughts on how I think the Giants could beat them, or even how the Packers can beat themselves. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go Giants. We'll see you in the middle of the week.